She survived for 26 days and still wasn't found. Only 2 years later, the mystery of Geraldine's disappearance finally brought some answers. This is the story of Geraldine Largay. I'd have to say that this story is probably the most tragic story of an Appalachian Trail hiker gone missing, and it is often on my mind while on trail when I decide to go off trail to go to the bathroom. In fact, if Geraldine was hiking today with some of the technological upgrades we possess nowadays, this tragic outcome may have never happened. But unfortunately it did, and so we must tell the story. Geraldine Largay, also known as Gerry, disappeared on July 22, 2013 after leaving the trail to go relieve herself. Gerry had committed to a through hike of the then 2,168-mile Appalachian Trail and had already traversed more than 1,000 miles. Gerry, who was 66 years old at the time, was a retired Air Force nurse who had hiked long trails near her home in Tennessee. She had even taken a course on doing the Appalachian Trail. Hiking the Appalachian Trail and the concept of sleeping in tents and wearing the same stuff for 3 and 4 days in the rain was something Gerry's husband was totally not interested in, so he just decided to support her on her through hike by delivering resupplies to her at different trailheads. Gerry decided to do something called a flip-flop, starting halfway up the trail going northbound. Once on the Appalachian Trail, she initially hiked with a friend but later continued alone. Like many hikers, she took a trail name. Hers was Inchworm. She was last seen July 22, 2013, near a shelter but then vanished. She had made it all the way up to Maine. Largay's husband, George, was not far away on the morning she went missing. He had driven to the Route 27 crossing, about a 22-mile hike away from the shelter where his wife was last seen. But Gerry never showed up. By the next day, George Largay was concerned and the official search began. Over the next few weeks, it expanded past the Warden Service to include search aircraft, state police, national park rangers, and the fire department. They pursued hikers' tips, scoured side trails, and set dogs to searching, to no avail. Unfortunately, bad weather hit the area at the time, and with heavy rain which didn't help the effort to track Geraldine. Gerry remained lost. It took over 2 years for Gerry's body to be located, and she had survived in the wilderness for 26 days before she sadly died. The location of the body and camp was less than 2 miles from the Appalachian Trail, and the dense forest became open woods with good visibility after 60 to 70 yards, and after another 25 minutes there was a logging road. She was so close to civilization and safety, but never found it. In October 2015, a forester working for the U.S. Navy, which has property bordering the trail, found a possible body, according to reports. Lieutenant Kevin Adam later described his thinking that afternoon, saying that the possibilities were that it was a human body, it was an animal, or it was a human body, then it would be Gerry Largay. When he arrived at the site, his doubts evaporated. He said he saw a flattened tent with a green backpack outside of it and a human skull with what he believed to be a sleeping bag around it. He was 99% certain that this was Gerry Largay. The campsite was difficult to see unless you were right next to it, noting that the tent was under several large trees whose branches obstructed the sky. The site was in dense woods near the border of the Navy and public properties, and Largay had built a bedding area out of small trees, pine needles, and possibly some dirt in an attempt to keep her tent out of any water. There was also evidence of lost opportunities, an open canopy nearby where she could have been seen from the sky had her tent been under it. Largay had also tried to set fires, noting nearby trees that had been charred black, seemingly not from lightning but from human hands. They also found her notebook, moss growing on it, titled "George, please read XOXO." They also found her cell phone, which showed that she had tried to text her husband on numerous occasions, but the lack of cellular connection prevented them from going through. Journal entries explained that on the morning of her disappearance, she became lost after having gone off trail to relieve herself. Gerry tried to text her husband after she lost her way. At about 11 a.m. that day, she wrote, "In some trouble. Got off trail to go to bathroom. Now lost. Can you call AMC to see if a trail maintainer can help me? Somewhere north of Woods Road, XOX." The text never sent because of poor or non-existent cell service. Largay tried to find higher ground and attempted to send the text 10 more times in the next hour and a half. She eventually camped down for the night. The next day, she tried to text again with an undelivered message at 4:18 p.m. Lost since yesterday. Off trail 3 or 4 miles. Call police for what to do please. XOX. It seemed that Gerry decided to stay put in her campsite, hoping to be discovered by remaining in one spot instead of wandering around. The entries in her journal continued until around August 18th, almost a month after getting lost. A medical examiner ruled that Largay had died of exposure to the elements. The journal also contained a final request dated August 6, 2013, saying, "When you find my body, please call my husband George and my daughter Carrie. It will be the greatest kindness for them to know that I am dead and where you found me. No matter how many years from now, please find it in your heart to mail them contents of this bag to one of them." This case has brought so many questions as to why she was not found. The search team was enormous, and records indicate that at least 3 canine teams came to about 100 yards of the camp but never detected her scent. The camp was less than 2 miles from the Appalachian Trail. Walking south from the campsite, the dense forest became open woods with good visibility after 60 to 70 yards, and after another 25 minutes, there was a clear logging road that led to lodging. In total, the walk took about 30 minutes. Because her remains were inside the tent, it seemed the sniffer dogs and cadaver dogs were unable to pick up her scent, despite being so close to her camp on several occasions. But since searchers were in such proximity to Gerry's camp, it was a mystery that she failed to hear their activity and call for help. People believed that she was too exhausted, caused by hunger and thirst, to be able to respond by then. I think it goes to show that this is indeed such a tragic story. Like I said before, nowadays this may or may not have happened. It seemed that Gerry had a hard time navigating and understanding how to use a compass, and that this may have contributed to her confusion as to how to return to the trail. Some people said that if she had a GPS tracking device, this could have prevented this tragedy. Well, it seems she actually had owned a GPS tracker and happened to leave it in her husband's truck at one point. Either way, she still had her phone, and therefore the question arose that if she had one of those navigation apps such as FarOut, that this may have helped her. What is great about this app is that you do not need cellular service to help you get back on trail, as you look at the map and you can see where you are in relation to the trail and be able to navigate back. Even if you are not good with directions, you can still see if your dot moves away or to the trail. I looked up when FarOut was released. It seems to have been released the very exact year that Gerry went missing, 2013. It's very likely that Gerry didn't know of this app since it was so new. I do highly recommend to get this app, however, as I have gotten lost a few times and it helped me immensely to get back to the trail. I'd also say that you should carry your phone with you at all times, especially when going to relieve yourself. So many people have gotten lost doing exactly that. I carry my phone in my fanny pack, and I never remove my fanny pack while hiking, ever. If you don't have a fanny pack, make sure you take your phone with you whenever you get off trail. Additionally, even if you do not understand how to use the FarOut app, the new iPhone 14 now has an emergency button just like a GPS communicator, where you do not need cellular service in order for rescue services to find you. I think it is safe to say that the number one thing parents instill upon their children when they get lost is to stay exactly where you are and don't wander around to get lost further. At least that is what my mom pounded into my head. So Gerry did exactly that. It wasn't a wrong decision based off of what we were taught. Unfortunately, if she had wandered around a bit, she may have found the open area where rescuers could have spotted her better. The problem, however, is which direction to go. You don't know that there will be a logging road or an open canopy waiting for you. All you know is that you're lost and your moving more could get you even further away and deeper into the woods. Therefore, I still believe that having a navigation app that doesn't require cellular service is still your best bet. Yes, we could talk about what if your phone breaks and loses power, but Gerry's phone was not broken, and it did not lose power for quite a while. She could have been saved with today's technology. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this different video. I went on a recent hike and saw a missing person poster. I realized that raising awareness of past and current losses can help us learn and become better and responsible hikers. I knew of Gerry's case before my Appalachian Trail thru hike, and I never went off trail without my phone or knowing exactly how to get back on the trail. And honestly, I thank Gerry for this. I mean it. I would have been much more reckless if it wasn't for her. So thank you, Gerry. Thank you, Inchworm. You won't ever be forgotten.